This meeting is being recorded and live streamed. Welcome to the members of the public in the public gallery and those watching from home. If any member of the public or press would like to record the proceedings themselves, can ensure this is done from the public gallery without interfering with the business of today's meeting. If the fire alarm should sound, with those sitting in the public gallery, please leave by the doors behind them, and those sitting in the council chamber, leave behind the doors behind you. And could you please congregate at the front of the town hall? Staff will assist with this. May I please ask members, officers, and members of the public to limit disturbances. Please ensure mobile phones and other electronic devices are on silent during the evening. Any member who wishes to speak on any of the agenda items should use the microphone provided. Please remember to switch the microphone on when speaking, but also switch them off when you're not speaking. Members should indicate that they wish to speak by raising their hand and being invited to speak. All of the councillors must remain silent whilst the member is speaking. Can I also take this opportunity to remind members that the code of conduct applies to this meeting, and we should always demonstrate respectful and courteous behaviour to each other. Members are also reminded that full council today will only deal with the business set out on the screens. If an item does not appear to be contents, members may ask whether any member disagrees or wishes to abstain. Only if there is a defending voice, a vote shall be taken. We will record the outcome of any voting and it will be announced at this meeting. I have received apologies from the following councillors: Councillor Enoch, Carter, Milburn, Anne Walsh, Joe Welsh, and Councillor Ellison. Are there any other apologies? Councillor Francis?
Yes, I apologize for Councillor Herbert and Councillor Harris.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Trainer. Councillor Edward. Thank you. Councillor Trainer. Thank you very much. Sorry, Councillor Walsh. Thank you. Are there any other apologies?
Councillor Jim Bond.
And Councillor Jim Bond. And we have also had apologies from Councillor Taylor. Thank you. First item of business on the evening agenda is declarations of interest. Does any member wish to make any declarations before we move on to the next item of business? Councillor Wallace.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's in relation to item 6, consider a report of the Director of the Court related to typical fees of the borough. I think as an NHS employee, I'm fairly interested at this point. Director of Health and Services has this recommendation to take forward to potential extraordinary general. But I don't have actually the NHS department forward.
It's just really non-pecuniary interest in item 4, the annual treasury management report. It's paragraph 5. It's regarding to the PFI contract support in school, design the local authority governor at Borough school. And I don't need to do any further action.
Colleagues are reminded that if you can't, it's broken. I did everyone, sorry. Councillor Thompson.
In relation to item number 9, person non-contributing as chairman of the Borough.
Thank you, councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and it's item 9 motion for, however, to do the investment and employed in the constituency office. And now we have the second.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, it's just that I know about it. It's just different than what was meant for having the ability to do my families. As well, for them, we're not on anything. Is there anyone who needs something?
Anyone else? Sorry, councillor Stein.
And item 6, I'm an NHS and all as well.
Thank you, councillor Stein. Councillor. Thanks, Chair. Item 6, I am the chair for myself, Street School. It's now having a business school, and it is mentioned in my. Anyone else? No? Thank you. Colleagues are reminded that if you have a social community interest in any of the items which prevent you from participating in the debate and any vote, you need to be in the council chamber during the discussions of that item. Because we go back in when that item is being read and addressed. The next item of business is the minutes of the meeting of the council on the 21st of July 2022. All the accepted is a true record. Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
Right, Madam Mayor. Whilst I fully understand meeting minutes are not going to be lawful, they're not for the date. I request that when any future significant breaches of procedure and or protocol occur, that they are acknowledged in the minutes. After all, the recent members communicated from the leader of our council has acknowledged that, of course, there were a number of examples.
Councillor Johnson, I just want to start in there. These issues are accuracy. So if these meetings are appropriate, when to go through what has gone wrong or what might in this meeting, all we're asking for is acknowledgement that these minutes and they are not verbatim as you might point out that we are just acknowledged. So thank you, Councillor Johnson, for that. We now move on. So all those, Councillor Robertson.
I just heard exactly what you said there, council, but when two councillors leave the chamber, surely that's what we report in the minutes. Good.
Right, let's remember minutes, Councillor.
Always is.
And about that included, but it's not a 30 days. Well. So all the minutes agree there's a true record. Thank you, colleagues. The next item of business is the mayor's announcement and communication. The council meeting on the 8th of September was cancelled with short notice. Due to the failing of the holiday. I think this is the right decision to make, given the fact, not long after 7 p.m. that evening, the nation was informed of Her Majesty had passed away. I would like to thank councillors from all political parties across this chamber who supported me during this time as your city head. I would also like to give thanks to the borough residents for the respect they showed throughout the period of mourning. It is with great sadness that I have to inform you of the death of the former councillor Alan Kerr. Councillor Kerr served as council from 1998 until he retired in September 2020. And was a very well-liked and highly respected councillor in both Kevin Southboard and Moulton Ward. He was mayor in 2001 and deputy leader of this council from 2008 to May 2019. We all send our deepest condolences to his wife Pat and to his family at this very difficult time. Please come you all now, for those that are able, stand for a minute of silence. For Hilary and Elizabeth II, before my councillor, Councillor Alan. Thank you, Corey. Colleagues, I am aware that a number of elected members of the public have spoken at the meeting of the Borough Council that took place on the 23rd of July. I think we can all agree that this was a particularly challenging meeting. Information is since being shared with all elected members that seeks to improve the relevance and impact of all the council meetings for our residents, whilst building a healthier dynamic across our council chamber. Chairing effective council meetings is one of the most important roles of the mayor, and the one that is the most visible and the most difficult. A significant amount of council business is conducted at our meetings in the Borough Council, and as mayor, I have a number of roles, including ensuring that elected members who are representing their constituents have the right information to make the right decisions, that the meeting is accessible and inclusive, that elected members are engaged and involved, and that behaviour reflects those values. As we are all aware, colleagues, these meetings can be fast-paced, energetic, and in depth. It is my role to manage the communication, for example, one conversation at a time, to explain and manage time limits of speaking, to deal appropriately with poor behaviour, to intervene when this is called for, and to summarise and close debate, and ensure we agree and record decisions and actions. These are the objectives of the council meetings, and I must ensure that we are met and that the Borough Council effectively fulfills its responsibility and consideration of the items on the agenda. This is sometimes difficult, and we don't always get this right. In the spirit, I acknowledge that there was a number of examples where the council procedure rules were not followed correctly in the meeting of the Borough Council in July. I would like to thank you and for your understanding and for your patience during meetings of the Borough Council. Our council meetings are required the contribution of all elected members, working together, taking joint responsibility. I appreciate each of your contributions and helping me to ensure Our issues are given due consideration and decisions are taken. Nobody enjoys those moments when you realise you said some things you shouldn't have. But unfortunately, they are inevitable. We all end up in those situations every now and then. And I hope we can move forward, starting with this full council meeting today. Finally, colleagues, I'd like to take a moment to wish our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Joe Amar, our very best wishes for an easy and speedy recovery back to full health. Thank you, colleagues.
What you just said, please?
I'm sorry, Councillor Robertson, under my announcements. There isn't anything.
You can't respond to what you just said about last meeting.
Yes, Councillor Robertson, I don't know.
Thank you very much. You know, we appreciate what you just said, and from anyone who needs job that you've got, right? Really, you know, the behaviour of them at times is time. Yeah. So we all need to sort of take lessons from it, and obviously, with you being from the leading party, it's got to be fair across the board. And I know you try to do that, but others will not at the same time. I repeat, I don't envy your position. And I do appreciate what you just said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Robertson. Well, let's hope collectively all political parties across this chamber can move forward from now on. Thank you.
Exactly. Okay.
We now move on to item 4 on the agenda, which is the council report directed business proposal on the annual treasury management report 2021-2022. I will ask Councillor Bell, member for Government, Finance and Corporate Services, before we move to the report. Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Treasury management is a process by which the council's cash flow, investments and borrowing activities are managed. The council complies with the requirements of the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy Code practice on treasury management. The code requires full council to receive an annual report on treasury management activity. The report covers the economic background, the movement in interest rates, and the treasury management activities for 2021-2022. Despite the economic uncertainty created by COVID-19, the treasury management activity for the year was delivered with a favourable variance against the budget and in line with the treasury management strategy. Council are therefore recommended to note this report. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, Councillor. Is that seconded? Yes, Madam Mayor, Councillor Bell. Thank you. Are there any questions of the member wish to speak to the report on the amendment? Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Dr. Bell, for the report. I have to say that I haven't mentioned the review by the sector. Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy carried out in June this year. That independent review covered the financial management of our council and assessed performance with benchmarks to other authorities. For the benefit of our residents, I will mention CIPCA review. It's broken down in sections. Firstly is our financial resilience. Our council is criticised heavily on financial management related to the medium-term financial plan and the budget gap. CIPCA raised serious concerns that our MTFP is based on achieving savings of 29 million. But the savings have not been identified. Additionally, with expected inflation pressures which CIPCA point out, there was no contingency for in the MTFP. We as a council may well end up in a position of having to impose significant council tax increases on our residents every year from 2023 to 2027. I will mention this is it.
this independently assessed report, surely, public, will know this. If you build our financial strategy on forecasted savings, simply telling us to identify those savings. We haven't, or we haven't. Simpler, are telling us our financial security is built on hope alone, but of course, simpler, directly, not based on reality. That's not acceptable. Next up is levels of debt. Simpler point out that our council had one of the highest levels of gross external debt per head of population. Again, it's about that frightening, growing number of 800 million of debt we are in. After that minimum, another 47 million of debt that's federal. It's not long now before we hit that billion in debt mark. SIPR evaluated our debt with our councils. Barnsley, Durham, Gateshead, Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Rotherham, Halton, North Tyneside, Sunderland, Knowsley, St Helens, Walsall, Wolverhampton, and Tenford. We finished clearly at the top of that category. SIPR also points out that such levels of increase in borrowing cannot continue in South Tyneside Council. There's no one else to do it, other than the Labour Group. This damning criticism for squarely on the Labour Group. Nobody else is running the council. Nobody else has managed our finances. That's where the boat started with the Labour Group. Finally, SIPR gave an overall assessment of our council's financial. SIPR rates each authority a 5-star rating, 5-star in the star. We didn't get 5-star. We didn't get 4-star. Not even 3-star. We got a dismal 2. The Labour Group ultimately is the ruling power responsible for our financial strategy. That financial strategy needs to feel change for the better. More worrying that someone states that Labour Group's financial management of South Tyneside Council does not support transformational change. I repeat, that's more than worrying.
Thank you, Councillor Hanson. Councillor Francis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a question really, and this relates to borrowing, as mentioned by Councillor Thompson. And I should start by saying I don't believe that borrowing is inherently bad. I mean, it might be bad if it's done recklessly to avoid the windfall tax or to fill a gap caused by a tax to the richest 1%. But it's not inherently bad. But I would be curious to know. I know Councillor Thompson mentioned a number of other local authorities, but it's not always easy to compare like with like when we do that. So I'd be really curious to see how it compared to our closest significant in terms of population numbers that are all that kind of thing. And then my second question, paragraph 14 in the report showed how interest rates increase for some of our borrowing. And my question is simply, what point would these rates have to reach before our current level of borrowing becomes confidence?
Councillor Robertson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What Councillor Thompson said there, at the end of the report that Councillor Bells just done, it mentions SIPR, and I'll repeat what it is. It's the Chartered Institute for Public Finance and Accountancy. Now, to my knowledge, I don't know if it's been into the council before, but it was a great idea to bring in. I believe it was the chief executive, whoever it was. It's great because the finance department can tell the council, can tell the lead member that everything goes in the garden, but SIPR coming in, their report, it's pretty damning, but it's an outside report that I don't think we've done before. Yes, we'll have external auditors, and we've got internal auditors, but these people have got a brilliant report. It's not comfortable reading, but it also says at the end of it where the council should be aiming, and ideally we are coming back next year to see what the scores are. Because ultimately in the report, what they've done is they're doing a traffic light, where I'm not in, you know, and in the grading, we've got 2 stars, 5, right? Some of them contradict each other. Well, we've had a slap in the hand for something, we've got to go for the equivalent further on the report. So there is good and bad in the report, but I do hope that it will continue to come in every year, because the external audit can review and see what they're for. There's more than a million transactions a year, how many can they really look at? So starting off with, the council said and announced that there's going to be a 3.5 million black hole next year. Yeah, shortfall in funding. Now, down the lines of, I'm revolving around the SIPA report and the external audit report. So, in the documentation, it says our financial management arrangements conform to the government's requirements of the SIPA statement for the role of Chief Financial Officer. Yeah. So the governance document, before we touch on the SIPA, says internal audit conclude that on the whole, there's a sound system of control in place across the council, although there are some areas where controls are not consistently applied and fully effective. Now, this here is the SIPA report, and it's titled Financial Management Review of South Thames Council, and it's dated June 22nd, June 2022. You know, so it's only a couple of months old. And some of the reports and the comments as they go through the report, when you cross-reference to what Councillor Bell just went through, it does give you concerns of what really is the truth. Is it 100% the truth? Because their findings give you great concerns. The likes of, under the title of Strength, Governance and Arrangements, it says, whilst there is a reasonable audit plan in place, it is important that the audit committee provides sufficient, robust, challenging scrutiny. Now, I was at the audit committee meeting on Monday night, and the audit committees have vast changes because of my complaints. You know, the backtracking has been going on for 10 years with that committee. It's been so long. It hasn't improved much to the point where the chair of the audit committee asked him to sit for us. Now, that's scary. That is scary that the chair of the audit committee doesn't know who SIPA is. Yeah. The independent person, the same as we need an independent person with financial knowledge and training on SIPA. We really do, because the backslapping isn't suited. It really isn't. So, under the strength governance and arrangements, it says existing assurance arrangements need to be strengthened. This is then told to us as the council, you know, and it says existing assurance arrangements need to be strengthened. The whistleblowing policy lacks an online form. Now, again, these people know their job, so why have we not put this online form? Sorry, I think I was 3 minutes, right?
That's what we just spoken about.
I know, but you didn't give me 3 minutes there, man.
Right, we'll move on. Councillor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the report, Councillor Bell. As outlined by Councillor Thompson, the Chartered Institute of Public Finance and Accountancy report shows that all is not well in the management of South Tyneside Council finances. The report from SIPA includes a statement in the summary, and I quote, there was no evidence of financial management framework. In a category where 6 areas were assessed, including delivering accountability, supporting performance, and enabling transformation, under the general heading of people, 5 of those categories were awarded 1 star, the lowest rating available in the 5-star rating system. I would just like to simply hear Councillor Bell's thoughts on the report from SIPA and how these problems identified will be rectified in the future.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, thank you for the report, Councillor Bell. It concerns me that, you know, I've read through this report as well. And there's a specific section on bank reconciliation. Now, in business, you know, that has to produce accounts at specific dates and timelines that have to be adhered to. Now, it says in our court report, we found that the bank reconciliation for some accounts were performed on the morning of the 31st of March And as a result, the bank balance for the reconciliation was not correct, as it did not take into account transactions which occurred on the 31st of March. We recommend bank reconciliations are performed after the year end to ensure bank balance as at the 31st of March is up to date within the reconciliations. Now, if that's the case, then our accounts are deemed false. If they were put to HMRC or anybody like that, they'd want to know what went on that. Now, are we talking £10 in transactions, £100, £1,000, £1 million, 10 million? We don't know. And when is this error going to be corrected? Because it's not right to leave it till the following year. Those accounts are dated to be correct as a close of business on the 31st of March and to be approved to the line buyers report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kelly. Now, I know there's a lot of questions for Councillor, sorry, Councillor Lawrence.
Madam Mayor, to sit and listen to this, what's been going on, I'll just see what I've said in the past. This council needs to shut down and put in a special measures. The finance officer is obviously not fit for the job. Thank you.
Sorry. Pointed out, okay,
I didn't hear it, but
that we just said.
Is it a finance officer?
Isn't there any difference? You know, we said at the beginning of the meeting, we try and work collectively together with all political parties. And everybody will be heard, and everybody will be courteous to one another. So please don't insult our officers. Thank you. Because those officers also work for you as you're a member of the council.
and I'm going to think that we should build on me. This is what built. I'm going to take some about the next one, we should build. So that people can see what's actually going on in this country.
But it is not appropriate, and you know it is the code of conduct. Talk over me, or to find when I speak. So you're definitely finished.
I'm finished on this side.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, we let this debate go on, and I think the opposition have obviously missed the point that this report here tonight has got nothing whatsoever to do with the SIPA review. The report is actually the Treasury Management Annual Report, which I haven't actually looked at or questioned about. It's all about the SIPA review. This council went through the SIPA review, and he had a chance to do it then. And we've actually been through it, and we are looking at it. Now, obviously, the SIPA review was in two parts. The first part did give us a rating of 2, which is actually the normal rating for the vast majority of local authorities in this country. We are on the cusp of 3, which is a very good rating. We are actually working towards the recommendations that SIPA go forward and are actually moving towards a 3 rating, which will put us ahead of all the authorities in this region. Now, at the end of the day, I don't know where the 800 million debt comes from, but it's brought up time and time again. Yes, we do have a high debt, but what we've got to take into consideration is that the borrowing compares to the assets on our balances. We actually have assets which are valued at more than £1.3 billion, more than twice the debt, and it's certainly not 800 million. At the end of the day, we took the review that SIPA sent us, and we have worked hard through it and are continuing to work through it. The separate assessment that has been spoken about a lot tonight was actually at this council's instigation and did not form part of the SIPA review that they do annually. They do come in and look at our financial management on an annual basis. We requested that they went further and looked at more things than they would normally, and that was the second part of the review. It's got nothing to do with the star rating. Our star rating was not held back because of what we asked them to do in the second part of their assessment. It doesn't form part of that. Really, at the end of the day, it rightly recognised that the level of increases in borrowing from 2010 are not sustainable, and it acknowledges that the council recognises the risks, which we do, and we are working towards that. I think Councillor Francis asked about the interest rate. It is increasing, and at the end of the day, all of the borrowing that we've done have been at fixed rates. There is no increase in interest rates for this council as the borrowing has happened in the past. There's no external borrowing taking place in the last quarter, and we will look at it very, very closely before we even think about looking at that before we do anything else, because the interest rates are increasing and they will continue to increase. But our borrowings at the moment are fixed rate interests and they won't increase. Obviously, I think a lot of it was to do with the CIPA review. As I say, that this is actually in this report towards council tonight. But if anybody has any further questions that we want answered, specifically about the CIPA review, which we don't have here tonight and don't have it in front of us, then I'm happy to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. I'm sorry, I want to speak to the resource and I'll go back to question. Take that. It has to engage what Councillor Bell said. The council.
I'd just like to mention Councillor Bell questioning the relevance of the CIPA report. He was mentioning that their own report. This is the body weight in it. So the obvious relevance. I'm surprised to get Councillor Bell to speak the fact that the figure of 800 million of debt. I mean, it was in recent budget reports, 697 million loans, various AFIs, etc., which amounted over 800 which haven't had debt. And you cannot.
I'm sorry, Councillor.
Information is rather
The point of information, what you're trying to see here, the one relevant question, this is gone on for 15 minutes, and Councillor Bell has still been said, if you're a council, it's not as relevant to the bullshit formula, value. She is quite happy to answer any of your questions. So, but we have to keep to the agenda, Councillor. Listen.
The point of information is defined as questioning data that was given in the body's report.
So what point of the inaccuracy are we looking at?
Well,
No, you're saying it all, which then.
see, you're being concerned. You've got to comply with the rules of money. You can't explain things like that.
I do not know dates in this council.
You know?
Right. This is one further one, Councillor Roberts. I'm trying to hold a civil meeting in this council chamber. Thank you. We now move on.
Point of information.
Yes, Councillor Roberts.
Thank you. 2 points of information. First of all, what we need to be about there. Under section 34 of the Constitution, it says the councillor who speaks at any meeting will not accuse any member or otherwise of improper motives or use offensive expressions.
Excuse me, Councillor Roberts. If you've got a point of information, it needs to be made.
I'm going to do what I said to, but anyway.
It's not silently, it's got to be made to Councillor Bell's response to the questions that you asked. So is this, the question to Councillor Bell?
It's just a point of information to Councillor Bell. Where Councillor Bell said before that the council's assets are 1.3 billion. We don't deny that, right? That's for our kids, not our grandkids, right? It's not there to get chunky on year after year. 2021, 2021, 2022, he bought 50 million. Oh, 50 million. That's thinking. 50 million.
Councillor Roberts. Councillor Thompson, you can line up on thank you. So can I tell you that the annual treasury management report is narrative? Thank you, colleagues. We now move on to item 5 of this meeting's agenda. is to continually report to the Director of Business and Resources, providing an update on South Tyneside modern slavery strategy from 2022 to 2024. I will ask Councillor Bell, member of the Business and Finance and Corporate Services, to form the report. Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Madam. I think everybody in this chamber will agree that modern slavery is a horrendous crime that strips people of their basic rights and liberties. It can take many different forms and happen to anyone. Adults, children, men, women, people from foreign countries, and people born and raised here in the UK. The latest estimate suggests that there are over 136,000 victims of slavery in the UK today. We don't want to think that there may be modern slavery taking place behind our closed doors in our own communities and neighbourhoods, but unfortunately, the reality is that police intelligence tells us that it can and does happen here in South Tyneside and the wider North East, often hidden and seemingly ordinary residences and business premises. We also know from police partners that often slavery is only identified because ordinary people, social workers, teachers, utility workers, neighbours, act on their feeling that something about an individual or an address they've encountered in their day-to-day work isn't quite right. Sharing their concerns and prompting police to take a closer look. As a major employer, a provider of frontline services, and a major influence on the local community, as well as a public body responsible for functions as varied as environmental health and youth services. Local actions which can be taken to further strengthen to recognise and tackle slavery must be taken. Colleagues, I ask you to endorse this update of modern slavery strategy, which will ultimately allow us to better protect our local community and help stand out this horrendous and terrible crime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Bell. Seconded. Thank you, Councillor Bell. Thank you. Are there any questions or did a member wish to speak to the report or hold the amendment? Councillor Myers.
Really brief, thanks for bringing the report on what is a very important subject in our operating one in some of the stories involved. As an elected member, well, the elected members, I should say, working in our communities, we're arguably quite well placed to be, in the know about what's happening in our particular wards, and we're residents all the time, and aware of what's happening on our particular. And with that in mind, it's just a question about training, because I know there's a very good training session that took place, I think, about a year or year and a half ago. And I would like that to be repeated if possible, but in the council, we couldn't make it time or media, councils we would be in that case as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Francis. Councillor Robertson.
Thank you very much, Margaret. Thank you, Councillor Bell. Excellent report. Very sad subject. Yep, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Robertson. Does the council support and endorse? Sorry to suggest which. I'm sorry, I mean, want to respond to the thing about there is food and activities. All right, then this we working on now, and we have some information about that. Okay, that's pretty. Does the council support and endorse the use of the updated South Tyneside modern slavery strategy? Thank you, colleagues. We now move on to item 6 on this evening agenda. The next item of business is to consider report from the Director of Governance and Corporate Affairs relating to the recommendations in relation to the freedom of the borough conference. I will ask Councillor Gibson, Leader of the Council, to call you with the report. Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Following this report presents two freedom of the borough nominations to support the initial stages of the process. Being granted freedom of the borough is the highest honour to be bestowed on any individual or organisation and I trust you will agree that will be Spencer and our local NHS, carers and key workers would not be more deserving of his marvellous treatment than our council can give. Where Spencer has played a major role in the civic and cultural life of Southend Veterans for a number of decades. He has spent over 20 years promoting South Tyneside performing arts and cultural sector and raising the profile of the borough as a visitor's destination, as well as being a valued contributor to our multi-agency working across the borough. And colleagues, how can I possibly put into words how indebted, how grateful we are to our local NHS, carers and our key workers who contributed to keeping our residents and our community safe and ensuring essential services continued during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Colleagues, the report sets out the processes involved in restoring this rare honour, an honour which has only been awarded to 10 people for organisation since 1981, most recently the Southfield Volunteer Life Brigade. Colleagues, we are asked to agree to these next initial steps that are required so that the council may ultimately decide to confer the very highest honour and recognition the council can bestow towards Ray Spencer and to all of our local NHS carers and key workers. I hope you will agree that we should absolutely progress to resolving to an extraordinary meetings of the Borough Council in October 2022 and in March 2023. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Seconded.
Being very pleasant to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What I'm about to say is something I wouldn't, under normal circumstances, want to say, but a number of residents have approached me and asked me to ask a question. This was an issue I raised prior to this meeting, but didn't get a definitive answer. It's a matter of public record that in 2005, Mr. Ray Spencer was arrested, charged and convicted for an offence of great pride, whilst in the office of being a director at the Customs House. My personal opinion is that the great work he has done in the South Tyneside outbalances that conviction, but this is an issue when it's restored the greatest thing we can in South Tyneside as an individual. I don't know if it was brought up in the Constitution Committee. I don't know if the opinion is because of the great work he's done. That's something that should be put to one side. If you ask my personal opinion, in my professional life, whatever, what as human beings we've all capable of making mistakes. And my normal reaction is once that person has paid the price for the crime and committed, they should be given every opportunity and encouragement to continue the great work that Mr. Spencer has done. But I feel it's something that should be considered. I'm not saying it's something like the honour should be restored to Mr. Spencer, but unfortunately, veterans have raised with issue with me, and it's something I feel should be brought attention before the decision is made. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Any other councillor wishes to speak? I ask Councillor Gleeson to do so. Councillor Fancy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Really to say that this is Ray Spencer is not just a performer, but also for his leadership and policy role in the LT Conscious Customs House, which he's steering that particular through some very strong issues over the years, not through the COVID-19 pandemic. And even COVID-19 pandemic, obviously, without saying that it was a huge difference to workers with that workers who went massively above and beyond to help us get through that. My question really relates to paragraph 25, which says there are over 1,000 members of the driving or confirming the freedom of the borough. However, there will be considered by the holding of any conferral ceremony, including catering, ceremony programming, campaign and photographer. And it's really the catering bit that I wanted to just come back to there. And bearing in mind the current cost of living crisis, if these events do involve catering crisis, catering costs, right? I would look at the way, the mechanism by which elected members can pay towards any catering good through their funds.
No need to hold it back. got nothing negative to say about it. I mean, but what has caught my attention is the fact that we're going to do one in October, is it? Yeah, October, and the NHS one is in March 2023. Now, this isn't a point score, it's not a dig, but I do think it's really, really unfair. The NHS, the care workers, etc., we're putting them another 6 months away for their awards, and you know, on a lot of things have been forgot about already, what they've done, risking their lives and everything. So there must, and I know that the council can, we've got to be sorted out to start into this and that. Why don't we just do a joint full council and give the schools out to the NHS care workers representative and the Spencer at the same time? It doesn't need to be a buffet. It's good enough what they're receiving, but I think it's so wrong to make it 6 months between the Spencer getting his in October and the NHS in March, because the argument forgotten about me and we aren't having that. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Lawrence. Somebody else wish to speak, councillor Atkinson.
Yes, sorry to revisit this, but I am disappointed, councillor Foster. I did respond to you. I am a member of the Constitution Committee, and I did explain, actually, took some advice from the monitoring officer with regards to the quandary you found yourself in, if you like, as a result of the residents that have contacted, actually serving the clean ward. I had the residents contact me about such an incident. How many years ago now? 17, right? Okay, 17 years ago. But more importantly, what I'd like to say is that I did respond. I did say that it's not we considered the Constitution Committee whether the evidence brought before us warranted bringing into this meeting, and therefore going onwards to the next meeting if people thought. And people can always vote against if they don't feel that's the right thing to do. However, I do believe that in doing this tonight, Councillor Foster, this could be seen as improper or offensive and could fall foul or council.
I'll read it out.
Sorry, before you speak, you raise your hand and ask to speak. If it's time to go, we can go on.
Right, Madam Chair. I'll read the definition of rule
Have
34.
the microphone now.
I'll read the definition of rule 34. No member.
No, I'm sorry, councillor Johnson. What do you think procedurally has not happened?
That's exactly something here. Rule 34. Councillor who speaks at any meeting will not accuse anyone of improper motives. That's a word for word quote. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Johnson. Councillor Atkinson.
Yeah, to continue, in my opinion, what I'm saying, and I'll say it is slower. Members should not behave properly or offensively, and I believe raising this may fall foul of Council Procedure Rule 34.3, conduct of councillors. The positive reasons that the Constitution Committee based its recommendation and believes residents to be deserving of the freedom of the borough are included in the report and in front of you, and I therefore am unsure why seeking to shame or bring someone into disrepute is appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Atkinson. Councillor Bell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I mean, I did second this nomination for all of the freedom of the borough nominations for tonight, and I'm happy to do so. And I, like Councillor Atkinson, did take side offence at what Councillor Foster said. However, I think we've all agreed that Ray Spencer has been a stalwart in his borough and will continue to do so. He has been absolutely amazing to our other people and helping the cultural place moving forward. He's also part of the college development, moving the cultural part of that forward, and I think he's totally deserving of it. What I would like to say to Councillor Francis, I'm not sure how we could go about doing what he has proposed tonight, but I'm sure we will take it away and look at Councillor Francis and see what happens. And also,
I think council did now leader will actually respond to councillor Robertson, because I'm not sure what the difference between the 6 months was. But we will take the financial part of the councillor present. That's the way we decided to go, and we will do it.
Thank you, councillor. Councillor Roberts, you already responded, and I would ask councillor, sorry, councillor Davis, now respond to the question that you all asked. Councillor Dixon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, these are two fabulous nominations that we basically put forward this evening. And listening obviously to what Councillor Robertson has said, I totally agree with regard to our NHS care and workers, the work that they have actually done. But what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, and I know there is a delay, and the delay is because we want to make something greater in 6 months. We've talked about a number of memorials across this borough, not just in one location, but it would be across the whole of Southend side. And we are working with communities in identifying the right locations. So there is a delay, Councillor Robertson, but it isn't any specific reason why they're not coming together, other than the fact we are working towards something greater in 6 months' time, Councillor Robertson. I think Councillor Atkinson has already answered Councillor Forster. But we took this nomination to the Constitution Committee and a number of months ago. And it was agreed, and it was all with regard to the achievement of real benefit. Ray has been such a huge advocate for us in this borough, and he has worked tirelessly, not just within Clifton House, but out in the communities, supporting every single one of our vulnerable and our young people where there was a need for it, Madam Mayor. So with regard to the new 2 nominations this evening, I really hope that council will agree to move to the next step, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Dixon. I'm sorry to have further discussion from the Lords.
No, it's not the leader.
No, so you can't. Yeah, I think that you responded. Massively.
Well, yeah, somebody's on me.
Councillor Robertson. The leader has responded to the question you asked. You don't have the right to be part of the leader's response.
Just think we need to do them all together instead of getting NHS 6 months, but we'll look forward to starting to be beautiful. But why don't we do all of us together? No go faith, they'll be pleased to come in here this evening.
Right, I'm sure those points that you've made about that will be noted, and it will be.
We're going to make NHS for that 6 months.
Councillor Robertson, it's been explained to you why. You know, I don't know what the inability to understand that.
Inability. Well, I mean, if we hear from starting, why not bring them in, give them a
Some of it's very boring, we know further than we found smart.
And I'm not going to say it, but I'm not going to be mentioned again.
Can somebody second that councillor Robinson is no further heard?
I'll second it. Well,
Can I have a second, please? Because I want to know, thank you, councillor John. Does council agree the region of the borough proposal that is suspended and agree to hold an extraordinary meeting of the borough council as per recommendation at 34 A and C? Does council agree with freedom of the borough proposal to the local NHS, carers and key workers, and agree to hold an extraordinary meeting of the borough council as per recommendations at 34 B and D?
agree.
Does council agree to authorise the director of governance and corporate affairs in consultation with the leader of the council with regards to the practical and technical requirements as per the recommendation at 34 A? Thank you, colleagues. We will now move on to item 7 on this evening's agenda. The next item of business is to receive a receive questions under council procedure number 8. One question has been received under this rule from a member of the public, Ms. Gemma Long. And the question is printed on the council agenda. Ms. Long will receive a written response to her question within 7 days of this meeting. The question and the answer provided will be added to the public question open for public inspection. Thank you, colleagues. Yes, Councillor Robertson.
Thank you. Because I don't know the constitution all the way through, is that exactly what happens when questions or is there any alternative? Okay.
We now move on to item 8. The next item of business is to deal with petitions received in the council procedure number 9. One petition has been received in this room. As per the council's procedure rules, the petition will not be debated at this meeting. After Councillor Thompson has read the summary wording of his petition and has announced the number of signatories in accordance with council procedure rule 9.13, I will move that the petition be referred to the appropriate body. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This petition is to request the permission for a secure dog exercise area to be established in the Red Head Park. 323 residents of South Towns have signed the petition. Support proposed by Paul with the £15,000 of funding for proposed.
I'm sorry, Councillor, you need to just. Sorry, the proposal, you didn't have to go into the depth. So it was just, I know you've been media advised about this previously, and it was just the wording about how many signatories there were, how many in South Tyneside, and in total, how many there were.
I misunderstood that there was an agreed text that I could read out here, which was several bullet points.
Second, concept is the land. Thank you. You can only provide a summary, which is what I
There's a reason, but we've only got one line, and then that is one. Summarized. 320 residents of South End have signed this petition. 15,000 has been raised towards the proposal. Community consultation has been held, showing 100% in favour. I submit this petition.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You stated in the Assembly Councillor Thompson that there was 323 signatories living within the Borough of South Tyneside. On the petition, there's 485 signatories.
I don't remember, I actually looked here, I think it's 501, but I just.
But it's
to
just for clarification, the minutes, I will not relate to the minutes. Only 323 are Borough residents, is that correct?
dispute the word order,
Sorry?
or dispute the word order.
No, sorry. If it's correct, that they are 323 residents of the Borough of South Tyneside.
Agree? Yeah, I see it.
But we need to know the overall significance of the tsunami.
It's in the agenda. Thank you.
Yes, the benefit of members of the public that I want to control, and the benefit of members of the public, I really need to know that. So that's why I was clarifying and your answer. Thank you, Councillor Thompson. In accordance with the council procedure in line with the petition stands, refer to the riverside area community as the appropriate body for further consideration. May I also advise that is no petitions were submitted to our public them of the Borough Council. There are no updated factories to report that to the Borough Council today. We now move on to item 9, colleagues. The next item of business is to receive a motion under the council procedure rule 10. 4 motions are to be considered in this rule today. I will explain the procedure for the motion. I will ask the proponent of each motion to move the motion beyond the speak for up to 5 minutes. I will then ask whether the motion is seconded. The seconder may speak for up to 3 minutes or reserve the right to speak later in the debate. The motion will then be open to debate by members who may each speak for up to 3 minutes and may move amendments. Somebody saying from some. No. Any amendments must be relevant to the motion. Only one amendment will be moved and discussed at any one time. If the motion is not carried, other amendments to the original motion may be moved. If an amendment is carried, the motion as amended takes place of the original motion and becomes a substantive motion, to which any further amendments are moved. Motion 1 is being submitted by councillors Roberts, Kennedy, Foster, and Milburn. Councillor Robertson, please present your motion for council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to pass watch on, have you?
I always have the last slot, it's always Roberts, so
Can we do
Sorry.
2 minutes? Thank you. Right, so the title of the motion is councillors acting in their official capacity and the council complaint form the constitution. Now, being the best customer at the standards committee, I've experienced both sides of the coin, right, and I've studied the law in great detail as well as the constitution. Now, for councillors, it's without insulting your intelligence for the cameras and other people at home. We come under section 27 of the Localism Act 2011. Now, paragraph 2 of that says, in discharge of its duty under subsection 1, a relevant authority or council must in particular adopt a code dealing with the conduct that is expected of members and cooperative members of the authority when they are acting in that capacity. In other words, that this motion concentrates on when we are acting in that capacity. Common sense tells you when we're in the chamber, when we're at council meetings, we're obviously acting in that capacity. But there's been a lot of grief for the monitoring officer, for councillors on both sides of the fence, where they're sitting in the house in their lounges, having a can of beer, having a cup of coffee, and they put posts on social media and complaints go in, and it gets deemed that because your Facebook had a picture of so-and-so on the profile picture, or because 7 posts down you share the traffic figure from the council for a council meeting, your whole feed gives the impression that you're acting in your capacity as a councillor when you're sitting in your lounge on the car or what have you. Now, in the past, when we first came in 2019, the council complaint form said, the people that got a copy of it, a complaint, it said, please note you may only complain about a councillor when you're acting on official council business. So that's exactly what it said. When I went to standards committee, this is not about me, when I went to standards committee, 3-6 months after that, the council complaint form changed. And it then said, the same as the constitution, if you were giving the impression you were acting in your official capacity. Yeah. So again, I keep on saying about 9 o'clock at night, sitting in the house in your lounge, just coffee or a can, right? You're getting deemed as acting in your official capacity. Now, a lot of councils around the UK got in touch with the government and said this needs firmed up, it needs sorted out. The government did do, through the terminology for it, but they've done a report, and the government refused to amend the Localism Act to allow council to say to councillors, you were given the impression of it, yeah? Or, as well as that, they refused to let councillors presume that a councillor was acting in an official capacity. So the be-all and end-all is, our council constitution and complaint form still states given the impression. And it still allows the standards committee or the investigating officer to say, well, 15 posts down to the council thing about parking or a meeting. So that one up there, what you put on the 11th at 10 o'clock at night, that was given the impression. So I don't expect the council, I know they won't change the constitution and they won't change the complaint form. But I repeat, that is the act of parliament that says when they are acting in that capacity, there's no leeway, there's no giving the impression. Yeah. So down the lines of it's going to end up where me personally, I'm involved in employment tribunal against the council, and it will get sorted out either way, you know, because everything before this council does, we all know at the very end it says legal implications. Yeah. So the act says that, and a lot of this council and a lot of other councils have extended to say, given the impression, which is wrong, but I don't want change, but this is what it's about. To say the act says that, why our council doing an extended version of it? Thank you very much.
Thank you, councillor Lawrence. Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Mayor, you said we're to speak again, please.
Okay, councillor Lawrence. The motion is now open to debate. By members. Do any members wish to ask questions, speak or move an amendment? Councillor Heather.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, colleagues. Our council does not apply any presumption that the member is acting in an official capacity when investigations into complaints are undertaken, nor does the word presumption appear anywhere in the code of conduct. There is no presumption either way. This council does, however, have a code of conduct, as Councillor Robertson said, that councillors give the impression of acting in an official capacity or give the impression of conducting council business, that is in the code of conduct. But this is consistent with the Local Government Association model code of conduct which our council has adopted. The government has also acknowledged that it is for each individual authority to determine their own code. And our code complies with and goes further than the legal minimum requirements. And we are in line with our geographical neighbours, Sunderland, Gateshead, Newcastle and Durham, who all adhere to the same principles as we do. The first three proposed resolutions in the motion seek to remove the provision that the council code applies when the member is giving the impression of acting in an official capacity, and it therefore seeks to narrow the scope of bad behaviour that a member could be held accountable for, even when our residents believe that a councillor is acting as a councillor and behaving badly. This element of the motion is completely at odds with the work that the council is doing to raise the standards of member conduct. And I know that our residents want us to hold ourselves accountable for the highest standard of behaviour and not to dilute them. And in fact, a consultation carried out by a committee of standards in public life, members of the public were calling for elected members to be suspended for bad behaviour. In its final proposed resolution, the motion seeks to point out something that already exists, that is, there is no presumption about when a member is acting in an official capacity, and similarly, no presumption when a member is giving the impression of acting in an official capacity. And these matters are established on the evidence for the code of conduct to apply. And the proposal that the council ensures that no presumption applies is already the case. The reference to the text on the council's complaints form on display. The form is there to assist people who wish to submit a complaint and to ensure that they provide the required information. The code of conduct itself sets out where this applies, and any changes to them would be reflected in the complaints form. This motion proposes measures which would make councillors less accountable for conduct, which could damage the council's reputation, and I'm concerned about this and I'm wholeheartedly against it, and I would encourage all of us to reflect it. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor. Any member wish to speak? This morning, councillor Lawrence, if you have the right to retire or is there any other member wish to speak? Councillor Lawrence, would you like to retire?
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Councillor Heaven, what it is, I don't lie. You know, that's why I'm not very well lately here. I tell the truth. What you want to do is, go back on the standards committee archives and have a look at the February hearing, the C24 hearing, and then in the March, the CO3 hearing. And what you'll see, because I'm still getting named and shamed for a procedure that was illegal, and you'll see that it says the posts were interspersed with others. Yeah, everything I've just said and everything that's in that motion is the findings that were done against me, them same words, because you may not be there. But if you read it, that's exactly what it's saying down there. Because what happened in May complaint, people went back 3 years on my Facebook feed. They didn't just deal with it. 100 pages of a fake profile. They went back 3 years on my Facebook profile. Hit one council one, 10 personal ones. 2 council ones, 20 personal ones. Just put it together. It's there in black and white on the investigating officer's report and the standards committee. Please read it, and you'll see that everything I've said in there is. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Robertson. Councillor Evans.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Can I just respond to the further comment, councillor Robertson, I know the chair. Oh, sorry, I was just, apologies.
Is the motion agreed? If it's not agreed, then we need to take a vote on this motion. So it's not agreed.
Can we request a name vote, please?
We need to find people who are in the vote. We've got 3 people, so I'm sorry we can't take a names vote. So the motion. We just not. Somebody speaker. Like, we just have a show of hands. Is the motion not agreed? Not agreed. Not agreed. And could be, thank you, colleagues. So you have a show of hands for those that would agree to the motion. And are there any abstentions? Are you abstaining? Sorry? Right. You know. Six were against the motion and 4 for the motion. So the motion is not agreed. Councillor Kildare?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll take some legal advice on this and directly from me.
I'm sorry, you can't speak on this.
It's not about the motion. It may be a point of order, it may be a point of information, but I think it's in fairness to my family. So I heard, and I don't know whether other members heard as well, foul and abusive word used. I wouldn't tolerate it from anyone else, and I'm certainly not tolerating it in this instance. And I don't know if I someone can think that there, but I'm not tolerating it.
I'm sorry, Councillor Kildare, I'm just hearing it's quite difficult sitting up here. If other members do, this is an appropriate avenue to go down to make a complaint.
And then may I come back on that? Should I be witness to that and then be expected to remain in the chamber feeling that that is entirely inappropriate?
What is the point of motion, no, Councillor
The point
Kildare?
of motion is that swear word was levelled twice at a member in this chamber. And I see I'll be able to deny that.
I'm sorry, it's not. It's not an environment tonight, during this meeting, there's no action to be taken. But there is a formal procedure, which I'm sure you are aware of, Councillor Kildare, that needs to go down to put it forward complaint.
And that Madam Mayor, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Cordero. We now, colleagues, move on to motion 2. This is submitted by Councillor McGowan, Francis, Guy, Stoneham, Herbert, and Bristol. Councillor Guy, please present for council.
As we know, South Tyneside has some very economically and socially vulnerable communities. And in 2019, it was rated by the Index of Multiple Deprivation that 27% of children in the borough were living in income-deprived houses. And since then, people have only made that worse. The cost of living crisis, again, we will have to then have devastating effects here. Although the government have stepped in with some measures that will help some households to an extent, having just crashed the process, there are now many more potential financial problems facing residents, as well as their energy bills. We've got soaring mortgage payments and potentially potential increases in their rent. This motion is in no way a solution to the problem and is in no way enough, but it's one of the small steps that we can take to help people practically during what could be a very challenging, perhaps dangerous time for the most vulnerable of our residents. I know that since we first mentioned this, some of the measures are beginning to be actioned, and there is an amendment here circulated. We will fine tune some of the details in order to get this action fully. This scheme has already been agreed in other councils, church groups, and community centres around the country, and I hope that we in South Tyneside can work with our partners to produce a comprehensive support network, providing real support where it matters.
Thank you, Councillor McGowan. Is that motion seconded? Councillor Francis.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to second the motion. I'd like to start by saying it's a disgrace that we have to consider taking steps like this. When I was preparing for the original meeting date in early September, I was going to make reference to the fact that the UK had its time as the 6th largest economy. Or since then, according to Bloomberg, UK markets have lost 500 billion since Liz became the PM. UK markets, and the week that this was originally going to come to council, we actually saw desperate viewers spinning the wheel of fortune on daytime feeding to win the chance to heat their homes for a winter, which is a disgrace. We know that residents will be struggling in some cases to decide between heating and eating this winter. And if there are concrete steps that we can take as a local authority to keep people warm this winter, we have a duty to step in. Especially for this government, we're unwilling to bring in the windfall tax and happy instead to see oil and gas companies make eye-watering profits while people in our streets and communities suffer. The cap on bills is still very high for some of our residents who, as my colleagues mentioned, are also being hit by other numerous factors that are in the pocket. I recognise and commend the work that's already been done and the things that have been announced since this motion was put forward and submitted. And having seen the amendment, I'm more than happy to support that as well, because it seems fully in line with the original intention. I think it will have a definite positive impact on residents in our community, really without help. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Francis. The motion is now open to debate by members. Do any members wish to ask a question, speak, or make an amendment? Councillor Hetherington.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move an amendment to Madam Mayor, colleagues, as we all know, and my colleagues across the chamber have acknowledged, cost of living crisis is far-reaching and goes way beyond its fuel prices. And as a responsible council, we do need to act. And whilst the original motion is very commendable, I'm now pleased to see that just in what Councillor McKeon has said, acknowledged the work that has gone on since the motion was tabled, and has also been happening since the People Select Committee carried out their commission with its 29 recommendations. Our commitment must be ambitious and realistic and sustainable, and we need a robust plan. In May, our council became a member of the Poverty Network and has commissioned our partners with Inspire to set up the Poverty Commission. Incorporated within our health and wellbeing strategy, we propose a family-centred, place-based health programme, which aims to reduce health and environmental inequalities, and this revised strategy will be published shortly. In June, a poverty group was created with key partners from the voluntary sector of health, who are looking at a whole range of outcome-focused measures, which includes all aspects to contribute to poverty and the cost of living crisis, with enhanced activities to be actioned immediately, which includes the warm spaces which might have been asked for in the original motion. This group will report directly to Councillor Barclay, and one of its first tasks is to set up the cost of living summit. And therefore proposing the amendment as tabled to the original motion, which in no way is intended to negate the original, but enhance and strengthen it, to better reflect and highlight the work already underway across our strength side. And Madam Mayor, I appreciate time is of the essence, but I would ask indulgence to read out the amendments to any members that the committee may not have that if colleagues are unable to that.
Does council agree to Councillor Heather to reading out the amendment for the benefit of the members of the public gallery and those watching from home? Thank you, Councillor Heather. We continue.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, colleagues. The amended resolutions are as follows. This council resolves to give its full support to the poverty group and the creation of the Poverty Group Commission for South Channel. To provide elected members and to publicise on the council's website a list of the relevant contact details and all name lines of publicly accessible council buildings that can be accessed free of charge and offer a warm and welcoming place where people can be warm and comfortable in this spring autumn winter. Under the direction of the lead member for the voluntary, as I want to say these before today, BCSE sector and equalities and partners, give full support to the work already underway with other partner organisations to identify and to promote locally based BCFSE, which is voluntary community faith and social enterprise provision that offers similar support. To ensure that these organisations can signpost our residents to additional support and advice services to help individuals and families access other services which may assist them to alleviate food and fuel poverty. Give its full endorsement to the cost of living summit involving partners from frontline groups working at the South Tyneside, which has been rescheduled for the 4th of October. And just to add, colleagues, this will be terrible because of demand in the original location of the to request that as soon as possible after the cost of living summit meets, a report is submitted to strategic cabinet to consider the possibilities for additional resources to be made available from existing resources to support our response in time for the autumn and winter months. Finally, colleagues, ask the leader of the council and our 2 MPs, Emma Lubbock and Kate Osborne, to write to the government and the big energy companies to highlight the seriousness of the plight of the residents of South Tyneside and to encourage them to use their energy support funds to prevent our residents from falling into debt. And that summarises the amendment. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you, Councillor. Is the amendment seconded? Seconded. Thank you, Councillor Barton. Can I speak to the? Do any members wish to ask questions or speak on the amendment? Councillor Barton.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am pleased to second the amendment. It is horrifying in this century we should still need to address the stark reality of poverty. As Councillor Hetherington has said, I am the lead member of the voluntary and community sector and previously served on the People's Select Committee, which has led the authority's response on poverty. Poverty devastates families and is a scourge on people's lives. The cost of living crisis is further exacerbating the situation. In the last 12 months, more children than ever used our holiday clubs and activities, while there has been a huge increase in the use of school uniform banks. We are seeing more people in work accessing food banks. In my own ward of Horsey Hill, Hospitality and Hope have opened their first community pantry. Citizens advice estimate that in South Tyneside, 1 in 4 people will be in fuel poverty by October. Since 2020 to March 2022, the council has given financial support of £442,000 to food banks and community associations across the borough. The council has already committed to do all we can to support our residents through these incredibly challenging times. The cost of living summit next week will bring together the voluntary and community sector, partners and schools to develop our collaborative response and practical initiatives to mitigate the impact of the economic crisis across the borough. I anticipate bringing an interim report to council no later than November. This amendment strengthens the motion by ensuring further direction on the work to tackle the cost of living crisis and poverty across South Tyneside. I urge all members to support this amendment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Councillor Robertson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellent motion, excellent amendment, and great to work together and back it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robertson. Is the amendment? Sorry, Councillor Thompson, I didn't see you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I agree, Councillor Robertson. I think this strengthens the original motion. The whole board on this. Just like to add one thought. Going back to COVID, one of the most effective messages throughout that time was to reach out to communities to check on the elderly, the infirm. Everybody responded fantastically. I look back in the building with any necessary reaction to the terrible crisis. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Thompson. Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First and foremost, I fully support this motion and the amendment. But we do need to recognise as well, this is not just the European problem, this is the world problem. And I appreciate everybody does, but I think just for the fairness of this sort of debate, it should be recognised. When countries like Germany struggle, we run on the pound isn't only the pound, but it's the dollar, it's the euro as well. There's a lot of worldwide problems. The politics at London recently, some of the decisions may not help agree with that, but the government have to show some positive action to alleviate the real problem. People will always want more. But I think overall, I fully agree with them, taking into account as well, this is a world problem, not just the European one. Thank you very much.
Is there any other councillor wishes to speak? Is the amendment agreed?
Great.
The amendment is currently therefore the substantive motion is no longer the original motion, as is instead the amended motion. Sorry, I don't. Do any of the members wish to ask questions, speak or move another amendment? Councillor McGann, do you wish to? Thank you. Thank you, Councillor. Is the motion agreed, colleagues? Remember, the substantive motion is the amended motion. Is the motion agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Motion agreed. Motion 3 has been submitted by Councillor Hall, Melling, Ellison, Gibson, and Hetherington. Councillor Walsh, could you please present your motion for the council? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll try and keep obviously very busy man. This motion asks council to support the climate ecology bill that's currently progressing through Parliament climate amendment bill. It's been proposed by the Liberal Democrat Pierre Lord Reedsale, and currently the bill recognises that climate crisis must be tackled alongside ecological climate. There was an earlier attempt to a similar bill by Caroline Lucas, Green Party MP, but unfortunately we didn't get that second reading in Parliament. The key headlines of the bill set out a whole group of emergency plans to rapidly transition away from fossil fuels and reverse the destruction of nature. The bill is about tackling the climate and nature crises together. During our fair share of current UK emissions to stay below 1.5 degrees Celsius with global warming, halting and reversing nuclear and biodiversity loss by 2030, taking responsibility for the entirety of our global carbon ecological footprints and evolving public in the way forward. As members will be aware, South Carolina Council declared a climate emergency in 2019 with the aim to achieve carbon neutral in the council by 2030. Significant steps have been taken to date to achieve this goal, including June 21-22, we invested over £4 million in capital funds and secured over £9 million in external funds to reduce carbon emissions. We've got a major renewable energy project at Heaven Mine Water, Jarrow Vector Energy Network, and Southern Scotland Renewable Network. We're also improving our national environment through sustainable tree plants, that is 3,000 per year, and protection and restoration of habitat, for example, the Climate Action Partnership. However, I strongly believe that there's so much that local authorities can do on their own. We need national legislation to be put in, the framework to put in place, so that council and parliament can work together. Whilst we don't fully know how those proposals would be implemented, it's fair to assume that if passed through parliament, that local authorities will have an integral role to play to provide local nature and public practice. And that's why I'm simply proposing that sometimes their council should support this bill. It's worth noting that over 120 MPs, including notably South Shields MP Emma Book and Kate Osborne Darrow MP, have also supported the motion along with Dean Burns, Graham Morris, and nearly 40 other regional MPs. Over 32 peers, 27 scientists, and 40 public organisations and scientific supporters. And over 197 local authorities across the UK, including neighbouring authorities such as Newcastle City Council and Borough Council for local scientific supporters. Madam Mayor, I propose the South Carolina Council adopt this motion, those that are Borough MP voting in court their support. This does not negate the council's right to Emma Book, and Kate also let them know the council support the bill and urge them to continue pressing and supporting as the best free parliament. Importantly, we should also register the council support the legal hour. Madam Mayor, I commend this motion to the council.
Thank you, Councillor Rowan. Is the motion seconded?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rowan. Councillor Thompson, did you wish to speak? The motion is now open to debate by members. If any members wish to ask questions, speak or move the amendment to the motion. Councillor Vance.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So yes, it's great to see some cross-party support here, as Councillor Walsh mentions. All of the Labour parliamentarians for this borough to support the bill, which has roots in the work of Green MP Caroline Lucas. Obviously, following the climate emergency declaration, which was brought to council in 2019, that's been significant work done, significant investment in that, and it's really good to see that we're on track with our goal and our aspiration to become carbon neutral by 2030. And it's absolutely right that should be matched with similar levels of commitment to tackling the ecological emergency. And in February this year, I presented an ecological emergency motion to this council. And at the time, that was referred to the Place Select Committee, where it's been discussed recently. And I'm pleased to report that this afternoon, in fact, we had a really productive meeting. I can find clear actionable steps to move that forward. So this is fully in line with that, and I hope fully intend to support it, and I hope others do too. I was slightly confused when I first read it, I'm not going to lie, because I wondered why it needed to come to full council at all. Obviously, the first resolution that's being asked for is the right to Emma Book and Kate Osborne, the two MPs, urging them to sign up to support the bill, but as Councillor Walsh said, that's actually already been done. And the second thing, which is the right to 0 hour expressing our support at the council. The 0 hour website lists a number of political parties as supporters, including the Green Party of England and Wales, I'm pleased to say, South Tyneside Green Party, also the Yorkshire Party, That's certainly not the Labour Party, so maybe some lobbying of the party leadership would be called for and worth pursuing. But regardless of the proposed bill, I do fully applaud the intention of the motion and in fact the bill and the work that Zero are doing as well, so I fully intend to support this and would urge colleagues to do the same.
Thank you, Councillor Francis. Just any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So many admirable aspirations mentioned in the bill. No doubt of that. This bill is, from my understanding, very past its first reading. Hasn't yet been at committee stage where detail and consensus is agreed. Substance needs to be added. Councillor Walsh himself talked about frameworks, from my understanding, was pretty much partnered with this. So many vagaries and some very important decisions being asked, proposals being asked. And I can't get away from the statement in the bill, the proposal in the bill, which asks for a legally binding UK environmental plan. I agree, but to end all exploration, extraction, export, import of fossil fuels as rapidly as possible. This bill needs to develop, need more detail on that, but I'm in a position to do that. This is the time when we're suffering from lack of energy independence. And whatever our approach to the impending energy crisis is, in the short to medium term, it almost certainly will have balance of renewables, nuclear, and fossil fuels. That's the reality. And the focus, as this bill does at this time, on bringing an end to the use of fossil fuels completely, is a concern for me. I like to think in some ways I'm almost agreeing with our friendly agreements, but this bill in its present form is not something I can support. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Walsh, will you respond?
No, Madam Mayor, no need to.
Is the motion agreed? Sorry. Sorry, and you can't further speak now because Councillor Walsh was the debate. So I will come advice on that. Sorry, mistake. I did not see your hand. Is the motion agreed? Thank you very much.
Legislation for this fund is to do with my employment, and I'm involved with the political action in this motion.
So we'll come to you now after the rest of this. Next item, the agenda motion 4, which has been submitted by Councillor Foster, Thompson, Roberts, Kennedy, Milburn, and Brennan. Councillor Foster, please present the motion for comments.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The top of this motion is for correspondence for the attention of the Secretary of State for the Department of Communities and Local Government. Before I put the motion forward, I would just like to clarify point 2 of the motion. And I wish to clarify the following. The letter I referred to was from a planning policy advisor replying on behalf of the Secretary of State. Thank you, Madam Mayor. As we all know, Kate Osborne MP for Borough was recently contacted the Secretary of State for the Department of Communities and Local Government and state their opposition to development on the green belt on the south side. I would imagine all political parties will welcome that statement. I certainly do. I ask the Council to consider South Tyne Town Council have no alternative but to use the government's standard method of calculating housing units and preparing the draft local plan, which is based on 2014 population growth projection from the ONS. Had recent population figures been used and the housing number target may well have been less. The data from the recent 2021 census shows the population of South Tyneside at 147,800, which compared to the 2011 census of 148,127, which obviously showed a natural decrease, 327. And looking further back in 1961, the population was 187,223, and And this really highlights South Tyneside population for whatever reason has been on the decline for a long time. South Tyneside Council estimated the current draft plan is 151,936, which may be an over estimate of 4,136 compared to the actual figure based on the actual census data. Now, I understand these statistics will be considered in the next phase of developing the local plan, section 19, the significant disparities critical to our future housing targets. Recent correspondence from the Secretary of State for Housing and Communities for 11 local states, the standard method is not quoted for it, but it is still up to the local authority to determine its housing requirement. And this includes taking local service standards and restraints such as the green belt into account and work with neighbouring authorities that will be more appropriate for the needs to be met elsewhere. It is understood that every community will not be able to meet the housing needs involved. Again, I understand this will be taken into account in the section 19 process of the local plan. Just want to touch upon as well. Unfortunately, the war in Ukraine has had a massive effect on us all. There's greater search for food supplies. And again, this is something which I believe in the section 19 will be considered. I just want to add, I'm very conscious of time, but during the recent Conservative leadership context, the now Prime Minister, all Conservative councils, and for your information, these are some of her thoughts. When talking about councillors, the Prime Minister said, "You have a much clearer idea than most Westminster about your local area needs and what our people care about. That is why, if elected Prime Minister, I will put more control in your hands. First and foremost, through scrapping right-wing imposed housing targets." The Prime Minister further stated, "Instead, I return power to the hand of local leaders like yourself. We need more housing if we have to solve the housing crisis. But it must be the right housing in the right areas, and that's the decision that will be made at a local level." Madam Mayor, I would like to think this is something every council in this group will agree with. It's something all the residents, regardless of what ward, represent the concern. I therefore ask the Chief Executive to write an MLU book MP with South Shields, asking the representations to the Secretary of State for communities and local government, highlighting the importance of our green belt to our communities and how the requirement to follow the standard, standard methodology impacts on that. And secondly, that as the leader of South Tyneside Council Tracy Dixon, to make representations to the Secretary of State for communities and local government, highlighting the importance of the green belt to our communities and how the requirement to follow the standard methodology impacts on them. Excuse me, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, that's the motion. I hope it's something we can all agree on. This is not a political statement. This is something that all residents of Tyneside are concerned about. Now we can motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Webster. This is not this. The motion is now open to debate by members. Do any members wish to ask questions, speak, or move an amendment? Councillor Levin?
I'd like to speak against, and I would encourage colleagues to vote against this motion, since it brings nothing new to the table and is misleading. I would like to point out that the terminology is regulation 19, not section 19. The motion order confuses me by raising farmers. Of course, we must consider our farming community and the food they produce, but our local plan promotes first and foremost the use of brownfield sites for future development. The UK government has already engaged in worldwide 15 markets having been freed from the constraints of the European Union, intended to rectify any shortfall in the supply of our food. In the meantime, our Labour Council is addressing the current needs of our residents. Families need a roof over their heads. The local plan is designed to cover development needs to 2039, in which time the UK population is projected to increase by 2.1 million people, with England's population expected to increase by 6.7% into the mid-2040s. South Tyneside Council is promoting economic growth by its support for small businesses and its partnership with the development of the island. These jobs will bring prosperity to our existing population and will attract a skilled workforce, and we must be ready for this. If there is a decline in population at the moment, it doesn't seem to occur to the opposition that people are moving out because there are no jobs and nowhere to live. Where there have been population increases, there have been in Newcastle and North Tyneside, where there has been much new house building and job creation. The opposition, showing themselves to be without aspiration or ambition, but South Tyneside are promoting at best stagnation and at worst decline. This Labour Council looks to the future with optimism and determination. A determination to grow our economy by promoting business development and to cooperate with our neighbours to increase employment and upskill our workers. We must also build new homes to accommodate them and their families. The motion mentions recent correspondence from the Secretary of State to one of our neighbourhood forums. However, the statement is misleading. It maintains that we can determine our own housing needs, despite knowing full well that the local government by creating exceptional circumstances in order to deviate from the concern.
They can have the same time what opportunity is necessary to there. We do have a number of people that wish to speak. Councillor Dixon, did you want to speak?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Holstead, with regard to your motion. The local plan has just finished the first round of the consultation, but the motion is asked to be resolved within this motion. And I would just like to point out to Council this evening, it already mentioned that the Osborne MP Jarrell has already written to ministers with concerns. One of the resolves is asking for that field entry and a book. Can I just advise Council, if they're not already aware, Emma Lewis has already taken a petition to Parliament in respect of this fact, supporting the right to refuse development of green belt lands and the right of the local residents to voice their opposition to local development plan. Madam Mayor, that has been happened recently. So I hope that actually resolves part one of the motion, Councillor Foster. The second is with regard to myself. I'd just like to advise Council that back in July, I wrote to the then Secretary of State. The letter related to our green belt and also to the standard 2014 standard methodology, bearing in mind that the 2021 census had just been produced, but the methodology was on in 2014. I did ask the Secretary of State to look into a number of issues. I just like to advise Council that I have received a response back from the Secretary of State, which I am now working through with Oxford. So in light of the two resolves, Madam Mayor, I am wanting to propose that as they have already both been addressed, that the motion is actually withdrawn this evening, and if not, as the actions have already been taken, I request that the motion be rejected, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dixon. Councillor, anything you want to add?
That's okay. I just want to come back with a couple of things that I said. So we talked about 2014 and 2021, again, we don't dispute them, that the numbers have reduced. But interestingly, when he reported his trust, he said, Liz Trust said we can have more housing. And the whole point of this council is that we don't want more housing. And we certainly don't want to build on the either. So Liz Trust might think it's a good idea to build more houses. We agree.
Thank you, Councillor Roberts.
Councillor Nolan said misleading and a couple of things that the opposition councillors don't understand and what have you. Misleading is telling residents during the election campaign that it's not going to be a housing estate there, and it's 3 months after the election, there's 1,200 housing units on there. That's misleading by neighbour councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robertson, that was a dig at the Labour members.
100%.
Councillor Francis, do you want to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. So, on paper, this, I know to be here tonight, because, yeah, but I know you feel very strongly about this, and so, I'm going to try and cover some of the key points that you can pass on to me this afternoon. He obviously lives and represents the same ward as Councillor Forster, and I know that this is a very, emotive issue there, because they have significant amounts of green belt is arguably under threat. And I would applaud Councillor Forster for speaking up on this and being willing to take a line and take a stand, regardless of party political allegiances, trying to take a stand on what he believes is right and what he believes is right for the residents in his area. And in terms of the things that Councillor Melling would take issue with in the preamble, if you like, to the motion, I'm always looking at what the resolutions here. That's what we're actually committing to do or not to do. And we've heard that the argument against being that these things have already perhaps happened in some form, but obviously the preceding motion, that was exactly the same case there. We were asking for everything that had already happened, so I just would like to point that out. So 3 key points really. Number 1, the government's method of calculating housing needs is arguably flawed and underestimates South Tyneside need. Number 2, the correspondence received suggests that there is some justification to reduce housing need where Greenbelt is currently. And thirdly, and this follows on Councillor Melling's point there, I believe she said that in the local plan, first and foremost, brownfield sites should be considered. But I would point out that recently several other brownfield sites have been proposed for housing, and they've come to light since the local plan consultation closed, and they weren't included in the local plan. So greenbelt development should only be considered after brownfield sites have been exhausted. And we'd ask that all potential brownfield sites be examined properly for redevelopment before the next iteration of the local plan is produced. It's bad enough having the greenbelt threatened by questionable housing projections without simultaneously ignoring potential viable brownfield sites. And I would support making representations to the present Secretary of State to highlight the importance of the greenbelt. I'm not particularly optimistic because the PM that appointed him has previously expressed a wish to build 1 million homes on the greenbelt, but it's worth trying. And it should be said that successive governments have presided over huge amounts of greenbelt destruction over decades, and what's really needed is national planning law that would truly protect it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Francis. Is the motion agreed to? Sorry, Councillor, I will come back to Councillor Thompson.
Thanks, Mayor. I will second the reviews of office motion. I would also like just to have in relation to state that there was no such planning application and there still is no such planning application on the greenbelt on the Belgate estate, to which I think the colleague was referring. And during the election, we supported residents with regards to their greenbelt opposition and have done something by including all of those open events and have submitted a significant contribution toward the objectives with regards to the greenbelt in support of the residents that we can move for. And unfortunately, the colleague has managed to lie acting, which is one thing I will ask.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Thompson.
Sorry, reserve the right.
Councillor Thompson.
If that Labour trick get involved in something, it can be involved in the decision by saying, oh, I held a post, I opposed it. So I'm asking the question, right? When the public do want this building renovated beside them, or they do want these 1,200,000 a day, is it the standard thing to get a post that to say that you oppose it, so that when the decision is taken, you say to the resident, I couldn't get involved because I done my poster for you. So it's an unchecked.
When we start with this, we're going to slides.
Okay.
When we started this meeting, we said, collectively, from all political parties in this chamber, we would move forward. And my political stance, across the chamber, while I'm sitting here as chair, will not.
I'm glad you said it close, Madam. I'm glad you said it close, yes.
It's across the chamber, I wouldn't like you to go anybody to agree with it, it's across the chamber. And it won't have to stop, and it's up right now. Let's move forward for the benefit of our residents that we represent. Councillor Thompson. Nobody else? No. And you say advice to that, it's your turn.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ultimately here, we're trying to protect the green belt. This is our responsibility, it's a council, it's our call. This has been clearly stated by government, unless Councillor Dixon has recent communication from the Secretary of State is different. We don't know that. But what we know at the moment, this is our call. And I'm confused from the other side of the chamber. We've got Councillor Mellon saying she supported building on the green belt. We've got Councillor Hunt missing a point completely, trying to save the green belt, which we are, which is saying through the support of motion. Confused. We have Councillor Kilgore, who goes into a denial about something on a subject everyone knew about. We all knew, and she played an active part in slaughtering an independent.
And I've made myself clear over 4 times this evening, we will not be personal or rude to other members that are sitting in this chamber. But there's really no better than on the start of home. Please sit down. I'm going to take you where I did. If you just sit down for a moment, I will take you that legal advice on this. You make it personal, it should be personal counsel. Councillor Thompson, I allow you to finish on the condition that you do not make it personal to the members, elected members to give this chamber or this large.
So before I discussed the other councillors word on this, I mentioned about Councillor Dixon's communication, which the feeling don't have an answer because that would help us more. Understanding actually word on it. But overall, from what we know, without knowing the content of that communication, I'm concerned with the content of our local plan builder. And equally concerned that the proposed green belt development is bringing deep anxiety to our residents. The people of South Tyneside need assurance. We need clarity. We need a local plan which is reflective of the wants and needs of the people. The population figures used to fall on the local plan are at least legal issues that additionally concerns are compounded when questions arise around local infrastructure and capabilities for an industry. But the core point is those population figures. We need clarity. And until we get clarity, the green belt is under threat. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll keep this short. I'm not sure if I'm going to just the last. The real purpose of this motion was to hopefully bring all parties together. I firmly believe every member that represents the resident of South Tyneside don't want development in the green belt. I further understand fully when putting together the draft local plan that they were forced to use those figures. Those figures are proved to be, and I believe there's evidence now to review it, go back it, and I hope that section 19, phase 19, will sort of do what the residents of South Tyneside want. It really is a simple matter. What I believe this borough needs is affordable homes. They don't want 3, 4, and 5 bedroom detached houses on a greenfield and clean lease form like any other ward in the borough. This is a borough-wide problem. It's a borough-wide issue. Nobody wants, no residents asked for whatever ward the representative comes from, one firm on the green belt, because I think it's a solid argument to build the houses we need on the brownfield site available. And all I ask is really, is like, I personally, the local conservative in this area, will do whatever I can to stop any future development, plan development of the green belt. I would like to thank your colleagues and members for other parties for this to see. Thank you.
Is the motion agreed?
Actually, no,
I'm sorry, Councillor Simon.
this is like a clarification.
Others would probably be. Councillor Strike, and then I'll come back to you, Councillor Ashton.
Well, we want to read it, what is all about, both of us,
No, because it's a point of information. It's not on what Councillor Watson said.
yeah. We should have got the result is that we're asking, South Shields MP provide a secretary to also the leader of the council. That's the motion that we're agreeing, but it doesn't seem to be that's what it's about. And what we're discussing is a little bit misleading because all of the things we've got in the consultation, we've all been involved in, and what all against building green and greener, and especially in parks, that's even worse. You can consider that because I think we're already doing this. And that's not what we're agreeing on, but it's been mixed around, that's what we're agreeing, and I'm not.
Thank you very much. Councillor. You may do something. You might call the councillor. You could. Right, now.
Yes, so that was just kind of a bit of information, and according to the Constitution, when giving a bit of information, candidates need to give information correctly alleged inaccuracy in a speech in the matter. It can be a clarification or confirmation of the facts article of skills. When making a further information, members must await the conclusion of the relevant speech. The ruling of the mayor on the matter will be final and is not within the discussion. I don't believe that that was a point of information.
Thank you, Councillor Strike, for apologising. Thank you. Councillor Ashton, do you wish to speak?
It's not information. It is around particularly what Councillor Foster said, in that summary then, because it does just ask in the motion that proposed, and then, that the council resolves to write to the faculty executive right and the local MP, which is already done, to ask the leader of the council to make representations to the secretary of state committees of local government, which is already done, and that's why. That's what we should be summarising on, and that's what we should be voting on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Were contributions that could have been made in the debate before Councillor Thompson posed the debate.
Perfectly right, it's initiative. And it might be mine, nevertheless, I'm not being able to see my colleague to the right or my colleague over there. It's quite difficult to do this chair because you can't see everybody. So you're perfectly right, Councillor Society. So therefore, is the motion agreed? Agreed. Right. We need to say. Right. I'm going to hand it over to you, and he's going to take a vote.
Right, so I require a vote, and if we do it by raise of hands, please. So I'll ask whether you for, against, or abstain, and in favour of the motion.
That would be the name vote, please.
And then we can.
I would see it fine.
Which line are we on?
Yes, it's right.
Very good.
Thank you. Okay, so, members, are we are to names up that meeting, we're asking you to be in using the microphones, whether you for, against, or abstain from motion four. Councillor Atkinson, against. Councillor Bell, against. Councillor Barkley,
Again,
Councillor Chris. Councillor Clare,
Against.
Councillor Dawes,
Against.
Councillor Paisley,
Against.
Councillor Epstein,
Against.
Councillor Dixon,
Against.
Councillor Donaldson,
Yeah.
Councillor Duncan,
Against.
Councillor Flynn,
Yes.
Councillor Costa,
For.
Councillor Thompson,
For.
Councillor Dixon,
Against.
Councillor Harrington, Councillor Hooley, Councillor Keegan,
Against.
Councillor Kennedy,
For.
Councillor Kilgour,
Against.
Councillor Lamont,
Against.
Councillor Kay Maxwell,
Against.
Councillor Ed Maxwell,
Against.
Councillor McHugh,
Against.
Councillor McEwen, Councillor Melling,
Against.
Councillor Peacock,
Against.
Councillor Paulhouse,
Against.
Councillor Potts,
Against.
Councillor Howard,
Against.
Councillor Purvis,
Against.
Councillor Roberts,
For.
Councillor Robertson,
For.
Councillor Stonehouse, Councillor Spray,
Abstain.
Councillor Thompson,
For.
Councillor Trainer, and Councillor Emmett.
Against.
Last colleagues have announced that there were 20 voted against, 9 votes for, and 1 abstention. So the vote is not happening. That concludes the business of the evening's meeting, colleagues. Let me say thank you for your endurance. It has been so understanding during the debates. Thanks to the members of the public and the family and all of those watching the call. Thank you very much. Thank you.